Hi, I have added numerous user interface commands to make editing and wiring circuits easier, and this is all under the intuitive click and drag interface. This is kind of a new interface for Scheme, which is less based on the keyboard commands and more on mouse commands, so to avoid or at least reduce the usage of keyboard commands for common tasks. Okay, let's try to do an example. First of all, shift insert, I bring up the component browser and I can leave the component browser open. So let's start with, for example, a pfet. I can filter here a pfet, go into the Sky 130 libraries. Here I have all the pfet. Let's use this 1.8 volt, and I place one transistor here. If I press the shift key, I'm not using at all the keyboard for now, so if I press the shift key and click and drag, I can create a copy of the symbol. Okay, and if I press shift F, the symbol will flip horizontally around the mouse point. If I set the mouse here, it will flip with respect to the mouse. Okay. Next, I need an NFET transistor. So let's use an NFET, and I will use the 1.8. So let's add the one. This is a differential input. So let's add the one transistor here. Shift, drag the transistor to this new position and flip. Shift F. Okay. Then I need a ground terminal. The most recently used components are also available here. So if I need a ground and I already have placed before a ground symbol, I can simply pick it up from here. I need the VDD symbol, so I can add this. With the middle mouse, I can move the schematic. Okay, I place the VDD pin. I need an input pin, E pin here, so I can locate the input pin here, or go into the devices library and search for E pin. Okay, input pin, here it is, this one. Okay, I also need an output pin, O pin. So more or less I have all the components placed, and now I am showing what I've done in this new interface. I can just click close to a symbol pin and drag a new wire. I can drag a wire here as well, drag another wire, drag a wire here. So it's very easy to wire the circuit without, I'm not using the mouse, the keyboard, sorry. So I just using mouse actions, click and drag, click and drag. So you see it's very easy to wire the circuit this way. You must be very close to the pin to trigger. Otherwise, if you are not close enough, you are moving the instance instead of creating a wire. Okay. Okay, now I need to rename this to plus. If I press the shift key, I will duplicate this pin. If I need more space, I can hit the Ctrl key, drag an area and click to move. Okay. Here I can drag a new wire, another wire, and another wire. Okay. So if there is a wire and if it is selected, if you click to the endpoint, you can move your wire. If it is selected, you are moving the wire. However, if it is not selected, you create a new wire. So if you need to move one point of this wire, first select the wire and then move the wire. Select and move. If you don't select, you add another piece of wire to it. Okay. I need to rename this to minus. Let's wire the output. Okay. Out. And here is my, okay, I need to also add another wire here. Wire, wire, and wire. Okay. Okay, I also need to get a bit used to this new interface. It's a bit different from what I was used before. You know, without enabling this, you usually press the W key to add the wire, W to add the wire, select an element, C for copy. So it's more keyboard based. The disadvantage of the old interface is that you need more commands via the keyboard. The advantage is you can never destroy your schematic by using a mouse. So if you take in an intuitive interface, if you click and move, you can immediately display some components from your schematic. Okay, there are some other useful commands if you want, and if you find it useful. One of these is a persistent wire place command. So suppose we have all these components unwired in another instance of the. So let's copy all these symbols over here. And we now enable this persistent wire. Let's see how we change. So I start from here, drag a wire, and I click. If I press W, I can add a wire, double click to end, wire, double click to end, wire, double click to end. In this case, I don't need to be attached to a component. I can create wires everywhere. Just click for start, double click for end. Click, 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 double click to end. So, and escape, you hit escape if you want to get out of the command. Okay. So press W only once when you start, and there you go. Double click, double click, double click to end. So if you start in a wrong position your wire, for example this, if you hit escape one time, you delete the current wire, but you are still in the persistent wiring command. Double click to end. You can also move this a little bit. W, start command, click, click, double click to end, click, double click. You see, I'm wrong here, so redo the command, and there you go. Okay, this is another way to wire components using this persistent. Persistent means that if you start a wire, you remain in the wire command, so you just click, double click, click to start, double click to end, and when you are finished, you hit the escape key a couple of times so you can do other things. Another useful command is this auto join and trim wires. So in usually in Xscheme, if this is not enabled, if you have a wire and you make an intersection like this, okay, this wire is not broken by default. So if I add another wire here, this wire is also not broken. However, if I enable the auto join and trim wires, these wires are now broken. If I add another intersection, you see wires are broken everywhere. And if I remove the intersection, the wires are joined. So you can also trigger this command only once manually. So if I disable the auto join and add a wire here, if I need to break these wires, I can enable this command just once here, and your wires are broken. This command here is not enabled by default because in some cases you don't want to auto join or cut the wires in this way automatically, and it also takes a little bit more computation. So if you have a really big schematic, maybe you don't want to have this command. Another very useful command is this one. I will show you. So if you have a wire running vertically, for example, okay, and if I press add a component here, and I want to cut the wire in the running through the component, you can remove wires running through the selected instance. You see, the wire has been cut. Another interesting command is shift right click. Sorry, alt key right click. It will cut your wire at the mouse position. Okay, so if you need to remove a piece of wire, press the alt key, right click, alt key, right click, and you can remove the wire in the middle. Okay, I think these are all useful commands. Another very useful command is if you hit this instance, for example, and press shift right click, you select the whole net, so you can detach this from your schematic. For example, if I do a shift right click, right mouse click on this, I can remove all these wires. Okay, remember to unselect if you don't want to move unintended parts of the circuit. I think it is very useful command. So you have seen remember the most basic function is adding wires by dragging from the pins and also dragging from the endpoint of a wire, or if you want to reshape the wire, just select before and you can reorder the wire. Okay, thank you.